G'day class, how you going? Mr. Fitz here. In this tutorial we're going to learn some more advanced features of the sketch command and build some more onto our model. So once we've created a basic model in Inventor, as I showed you in the last tutorial, we created a sketch and an extrusion, which now gives us a 3D object. We can continue to build onto this by creating more extrusions or more features, or we can cut away from this by doing the same. So let's start by creating another extrude. So what we're going to do on one of these faces is create some text. This could be our name or some information, and we are going to extrude this. So the important thing to remember with CAD is that we've got to do this in stages. So the next stage will be to create another sketch. So start by clicking sketch, choose the face we want to sketch onto. We're going to choose this face, click, and the screen will go and rotate us into this. Now, because we've got this existing geometry, or this existing feature, we can sketch onto this. So one thing we can do is build some lines, and you'll notice that I can now click and select the existing geometry. So I can click onto a corner. I can also choose a midpoint of a line, and I can sketch wherever I like onto this existing feature. So I can build a funny little sketch on here. Remember to get out to right click and press escape, or escape on your keyboard. So again, we can draw directly onto existing geometry. Remember again that I can move my sketch freely when it is green, because it is unconstrained. So that was just a quick example. I'm going to delete that I've just drawn, and what we're going to do is create some text. So over in create, there is text. Simply click on text. Now at the bottom it is telling me to click on a location or two corners. So I'm just going to click a spot here, and all of a sudden pops up my dialog box for my text here. Pretty straightforward. You can type something you want to extrude. I'm going to type my name, Mr. Fitz, and you can see here I have all the options to make the text centered, change the text style and the size and the formatting. Once I've created my text in here, if I want to change it, I must remember to highlight it. So click and highlight the text. I can then go in and make it bigger. So there's some default sizes here, but I'm going to make this 8 millimeters. Press enter and it will make my text bigger. I can also make it bold and change the font type. For example, I'll change this to Homer and go OK. You'll see here that it has built my text. This is far too big, so I'm going to have to change it. So I'm still in the text, so right click and go escape. To change it, I'd simply double click on it. Click twice and it brings back up the dialog box. So I'm going to highlight this and reduce it. Let's start at 3 millimeters. See what happens. Here we go. Just fits inside my cube. Cool. One thing I'm going to do with my text, I've decided that I don't want it to be horizontal. I want it to be on an angle or vertical. So as you can click, I can move this wherever I want, but I can't easily rotate this. To do that, I need to go up to my modify tool. Rotate. Click on this. Now at the bottom here it says select geometry to rotate. So I'm going to click my name. Now here I can tell it an angle. So I want to make this to 45 degrees. So I'll type in 45 and it hasn't gone there yet. What I need to do is give it a center point for my rotation. So click now on center point, and I'm going to just pick any point, and you will see it's going to rotate 45 degrees. And go apply. And done. Now my text is at 45 degrees. That's good, that's what I want. Now I can finish my sketch. Now you'll see Mr. Fitz is sketched on this face. That yellow line there was some geometry that came into my sketch before when I was doing that little doodle at the start. That's fine, I can just leave that there. Now you'll see here my sketch is in my feature tree. I can click on the sketch and click extrude to turn this into a three-dimensional shape. At the moment it's just text on the face. It doesn't have a depth or a size. So if I click on extrude, I can see what happens. So by default it wants to extrude it 15 millimeters out from my cube or rectangular prism. There are quite a few options now in my extrude toolbar. By default, it wants to join it or make it a solid. If I click on the next option, which is to cut, this will enable me to cut that information into my cube. So when I click on that, as you can see, it flips it to cut it. And there is also one called intersect. So intersect will delete everything besides where the two intersections between my existing geometry and my new geometry. This is a tool that is rarely used, the intersect. So what I'm going to do is choose one of these two, and in this instance I'm going to choose the cut. And I'm going to cut this into my part. Sometimes when you click cut, it may not reverse the direction. It may keep the direction out of the part. This is no good for us because there's nothing out here to cut, only backwards. So change the direction and set the depth. I'm going to make this 1 millimeter into my part. You can see this area of red here, which is the shadow of where it's going to cut, and press OK. That's what I want. And there we go. I can zoom in and I can have a look, and you will see clearly Mr. Fitz is imprinted. Again, remember that this is always editable. If I've decided I've changed the size of my text or the direction of my extrude, I can go now into my extrusion 3, right click, edit my sketch. So I can change the text. I might want to change the font. Remember, again, you must highlight to change it. Change it to Trebuchet. Click OK, and you'll see the font style will change. Finish my sketch, and it will update. Likewise, I can change my feature, so edit feature with the right click. And now I've decided I'm going to make my text go outwards. So I've got to change this from cut to join. Join will make it a solid. At the moment it's trying to put the text into the part, which is not what I want. I want it to come out. So change the direction and go OK. Now the text is extruded from my face. A few little quick ones to finish off our design. You can continue to add more text and designs to the other faces of your cube. Just simply start by clicking on 2D Sketch. This is the basis of every feature. So click on Sketch, choose your face, and draw what you want to extrude. The last few things I'm going to show you are a fillet. A fillet enables you to round the edges. So wherever you've got a square edge, in this tool I can click on an edge and you can see it will round this with a fillet. I can put in the radius. Remember from mathematics, a radius is half of the diameter. And I'm going to make this 1 millimeter. I can continue to click on my edges and you will see the preview. I can do this to all of my edges. Once I'm happy, I'm going to exclude those ones. I'll just do these ones to show you. Go OK, and you'll see those edges are now rounded. So that's the fillet tool. There is also a chamfer, which is very similar to the fillet, except this, rather than making it a round edge, it will make it what we call a bevel. So it takes off the corner. So if I click on this edge, I can choose my distance and go apply. At the moment it is saying it has failed. This is because I have these radiuses and it is confusing it. So let's just go back and delete my fillet and try that again. So chamfer, click on an edge and you'll see the preview. It's trying to take off that corner with a 45 degree. And I want to make this 1 millimeter. I can continue to click the edges around it and go apply. You'll see that it has taken off those corners with a 45 degree bevel. There are other options in here which you can explore, where you can change the angle. Rather than being 45, it could be a smaller or bigger angle. Or rather than using the angle, you may choose to vary the dimension of either edge. So have a play with this tool, very useful for squaring off an edge. That is it for this part of the tutorial. We will go on to some more advanced things in the next tutorial. Thank you.